What it costs. Yo guys, how's it going? Now today's topic is about, once again, a very important topic, or a topic that I deem very important, and it's one of the things that if I have to say a few sentences to someone, for example, in this period, that would be one of those topics that I will share my thoughts on and talk about those problems, because it's very important what it costs. Now, it's important to understand that what you gain is very important, but what it costs is sometimes even more important. I know people, for example, getting something like 3,000, around $3,000 a month, which is livable with. You can live with that kind of money in most of the places in the world nowadays, and it's kind of okay if you have passive income or something like that, and you can actually afford a living out of that. It's very possible to live with that kind of money, but some of them are having their, well, costs, their everything that they have to spend monthly. It costs them something like $2,700, $2,700. So it's like you can't really. That's not really nice, because they can just afford living, because they have around $300, which they can choose what to do with. So it's kind of, well, less than the minimum that is giving you any motivation. So what it costs to live like that is sometimes more important than what you gain, because I know even stranger people that are earning, like, for example, 12,000. It's a good salary nowadays. It's still very good salary. It's a nice one. You can afford nearly everything with that, but there's one big but in this picture, and it's about um, how much, once again, does it cost you to live uh, on the standard you want to have that lifestyle that you want to, or you believe you need to uh, have, so you can afford to be, well, feeling nice in your skin at your position. And sometimes it's, once again, not worth it. I know people that have been earning such money for years, and they have spent it around, well, very, very little amounts of money, like 10,000. That they are earning 12,000, but they have spent for years like something like between 10 and $20,000, for example. And it's very weird, because they're literally spending most of the money there on, literally, they're not. It's not about investment, reinvestment in skills. Maybe sometimes a certificate, or two of them, or something like that. Couple certificates is kind of okay. Some skilling, some many things that actually can be done with that money, that could be creative and positive, but still, on the other hand, still, it's not worth it. I don't seem that kind of life. I know people that are earning much less than, for example, the minimum amount of like $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and they're actually saving much more than those people, and they're buying apartment from savings, for example, for 20 years or something like that. Literally, they're saving some money, and they're living on the bare minimum, and then after, for example, 20 years, they're without any credit, without any. It's not the best option. I don't tell you to do that, but there are such people. They're buying an apartment an apartment, and they have saved that much money. So it's possible because they have very um, low. They're living on a low budget. Um, that kind of low upkeep. They're literally living on what's needed, and yeah, it pays at the end of the day. So if you ask me, that's the better option than those people that are having high standard, but that could actually change, and positions are not very safe, and not in each and every company at least. And then if you have an upkeep that's like you're spending like $10,000 a month, and then you have to live with three, for example, because you have been fat or something happened. It doesn't matter. Then you are not you cannot adapt easy to that kind of low um, lifestyle according to what has happened to you to this moment. So, for example, I totally don't recommend that if you're earning like 12 to, it doesn't matter, 30, 40, 60,000 a month. Better live on like, I don't know, around 3 to 5,000. You can um, afford some nice stuff from time to time. You don't have to save or invest all that money, but invest something like if you have that high salary, something like 60 to 80% of your income, and live with the others. It would be the other amount. It will be just enough, and you feel perfectly comfortable, but you won't be feeling like a clown at the end of the day or when you get older, because that's what happens to many people, and at the end they haven't afforded nearly anything. They have what they started with, and they have been working, for example, and that's high pressure, high stress work. That is jobs like that are not at all easy and chill. They're just like people are breaking, people are trying to go beyond their limits, just do their job, and it could be a good thing for a couple of years or something like that, but then it starts to get ugly. Sometimes some people can afford that. The other thing is the worst case, the worst case, and that in which, for example, some people are literally going to work for like $1,000 a month, and their spendings are like double that, and that's something like 2,000. And well, that's the worst case scenario, and there are many people like that. I know many people that are literally working, and they don't have and then don't really have other types of income, so they're literally earning like 1,000, spending 2,000. What happens then? Living on the credit that will never be paid, and it only gets worse. And yeah, that's very bad. If you're in, you know someone in that position, or let's say you are not in that position, but if you are in that position also, because it's not the end of the road still, but you have to change that very quickly and give an advice to such a person that is in that kind of situation to change his life very at the end. Do it now, because there's no time to waste, because that's literally the worst that can happen. You're working, you're doing your job, you're doing everything you can, and you are still on a minus. big minus. And that's happening very, if you don't know that many cases, that's happening very often. It's like maybe mm, more than 50% of the workers are actually in that position. Some of them are not actually understanding that, but because they have, for example, some subscriptions and the things that they don't really understand how much are they, how much money are going that way. So they are literally waiting for the moment they uh, finally retire, and it's not going much better from that point on, but at least they don't have to carry all that responsibility. But that's the worst case scenario if you know someone like that, or you're in a similar position. Just do everything um, possible to change that for the better, because yeah, that's awful. And now just uh, just look at the position you are, and your um, loved ones are, and see if something like that doesn't happen at that very moment. If you haven't realized it, it's possible, because many people are working for some money, and they don't really understand, and they don't realize at that point that they're actually spending more than they're earning. And it's happening. It's fixable nowadays, because if you are a functional citizen, you get some benefits from that, but in the long term, it's ruining everything possible that could be ruined uh, with one's life, soul, and all that matters, because it's not only materialistic stuff. It's important to have that confidence that at least you own yourself, but at some point you start being well, a tool of the banks or the people you have asked for a credit, and you don't really own yourself, because you owe some people more than you have, and you can't really pay, even if you invest, even if you sell, or well, turn the money all you got, you'll still be on a minus. And it some people are by somehow figuring it out. And if you are a big businessman, for example, that wouldn't be that much of a problem, because you are having a high status, and that high status is actually worth something. So it's not the worst case in each and every scenario, but if you are not that big guy that's standing on the top of the world, top 5% or something like that, even 5%ers are still with enough status so they can afford having more bills, and more well, all that is on a minus than earnings, because that can change in each and every moment, and it's really possible on the high top of the scale. But with for each and every one that's not standing on that position, on that high ground, it's risky, and it could get ugly, and you better do something before that happens, because sooner or later it could, and most probably, if you are not acting accordingly to what you have to do, it will, because you are working for yourself, and actually you're responsible for your actions, or uh, the lack of them. So yeah, my advice is check what's the situation, and if something like that happens to you or someone you know and care about, or just want to give a nice advice to someone, that you know and is in that position, so he can change for the better. Just do it now because those things are important. And yeah, it's a basic, uh, the basis, very basic stuff, what I'm talking about right now. But many people are just wanting to look at a different direction and never realize that the problems related to that topic. Thank you very much, guys. See you later.